I've got so many things going through my head right now, and I don't even know where to begin. You guys saw the video on Friday, which is everything that happened on Thursday, and Thursday was the worst day of my life, hands down. Going to prison, getting sentenced to 7 years, nothing that I've experienced in my life thus far, 36 years on this planet, has been worse than what I experienced with my wife this past Thursday. All of this has been a lot to take in, a lot of trying to understand, trying to come to terms with the reality of the situation being what it is. We went into a doctor's appointment last Thursday. Everything was fine and dandy before we went in there. We were not expecting the news that we would get in the midst of an ultrasound that they were doing on my wife, where they would turn the screen to my wife and tell her that the baby didn't have a heartbeat. It's now Monday, almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon as I'm filming this, and I'm just now getting back from another doctor's appointment with my wife, another ultrasound. And this time, there's not a lot that you can even see in the ultrasound. The pregnancy is still there inside of my wife, though. And on Thursday, we've got another doctor's appointment where they have to do a surgical procedure to remove what's left of this pregnancy. This is disgusting. This is horrible. I want to give you guys an update on what's been going on. I want to try to get back to some type of normalcy this week. I do want to tell you guys that my wife is doing a lot better, especially my wife. And I'm doing the best that I can to handle this situation as well, but most importantly, just trying to be there for my wife. There's no worse feeling in the world than on Thursday night, the night of us finding out all of this, as we're going to sleep, as we're laying in the bed, and I feel this tear from my wife hit my cheek as she's laying with me. And then she just breaks completely down for the 4th or 5th time that day. You never want to see somebody that you love more than anything in that much pain. And again, like I said, we're just coming back from a doctor's appointment right now. And I will be honest with you, I was pretty pissed off. I was pretty angry. And I said a lot of things that were on my mind. How did this happen? Who is at fault for this? I want to blame somebody, and I want to blame the doctors. But realistically, I know it's not their fault. It is what it is. When you do this IVF, the risk of miscarry, or the risk of a miscarriage, is a lot higher than any other type of a pregnancy. There's a lot of things that I'm going to talk about in this video, and I guess I want to say first, thank you. Thank you all. I've never received this much support, so many emails, tweets, messages on Facebook, messages everywhere, where so many people were reaching out and just offering some sort of a kind word. And one thing that I also realized with so many people who were reaching out, there's a lot of other people who have been through this exact same thing. Hey, Joe, I've been there. Me and my wife, we've been there. Our first child, it was a miscarriage. We went on to have 2 or 3 kids. But you know, it's funny because with us having this doctor's appointment today, I was almost believing that maybe when we went there, maybe they had made a mistake. And maybe they would have seen the heartbeat today. But they did. A lot of people have reached out to me since this. Some people that might be surprising. I was surprised that these people reached out. I want to share some of that with you guys. There was a guy I was locked up with, a guy by the name of Shep, who went through something even worse than this. Him and his girl, when he came home from prison, she got pregnant. She carried the baby for 9 months for it to be a stillborn. Josh from Lockdown 23-1, he reached out, offering me some kind words. I spoke of how my faith was shooken, how my faith was shaken, and how I had prayed for things to just be okay. And I don't pray for myself. I consider myself a believer. I consider myself somewhat religious. But you know, when I pray, I never pray for God to do this for me. Maybe even just saying that, maybe I'm wrong. You know, I prayed during this entire situation for God to just watch over my wife and watch over this unborn child. But in my mind, he didn't. And again, it goes back to me being angry, upset, just not knowing how to react to this. What feeling is okay for me? Am I okay? A lot of confusion. And I want to put the blame somewhere. But there's nowhere that I can put that. It's nobody's fault. This is just stuff that happens in life. Unexpected things that you could never be prepared for. Things that you could never even imagine. And when you experience something like this, I guess the best thing that you have to do, the most cliche thing to say about it is you have to find a way to press on, to move forward, to accept it, to grieve, to heal, and eventually it gets better. And again, like I said, you know, me and my wife, we are doing a lot better. She's doing a lot better. But Thursday, we've got this other doctor's appointment. And I feel like then, you know, the Band-Aid's just going to get ripped right back off the wound again. When all of this happened, you guys saw the video right afterwards. But Friday would roll around and I had no idea what to do. I woke up at 6 o'clock. I usually wake up early. I went and sat right in front of the computer and I didn't know what to do. I wasn't about to work. I wasn't about to edit videos that I knew were never going to get posted right now. This video has to happen before anything else. There has to be some sort of an update. There has to be some sort of an addressing of all of this, in my personal opinion. Maybe some of you don't care. But I need to do this for me. And I'm doing this to, I don't know why else I'm doing this. I just need to give you guys this update before attempting to try to get back to some type of normalcy. But Friday I would wake up not knowing what to do. And you know, I can remember on that Thursday night when my wife was crying, bawling her eyes out as we were laying there in the dark in the bed. I was thinking to myself, Friday, I'm going to wake up and the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to begin drinking as soon as I wake up. Hell, I could title this video, I almost slipped. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to just grieve. And that's how I thought I was going to grieve. I was just going to drink myself comatose. I even expressed that to my wife, that was my game plan. She said, don't do that. I need you. So when my wife woke up on Friday, my entire mission was to get her out of this house and to just keep her busy. We went and we saw Dave. We stayed there for about 10 minutes. And then we just drove. And while driving, we had no destination, nowhere to be, nothing to do. And I spent that time just talking to my wife, telling her stories of my past, how I can remember when I was younger driving with no license. I would never speed. And it wasn't that I wouldn't speed because of the fact that I was scared to get pulled over. I mean, of course, that was part of it. But I wouldn't speed because where did I have to go? Everybody's in such a hurry. But I would never really have any real destination that I was trying to get to. I guess I was just passing the time back then. And that was exactly what we were doing this past Friday. Before all of this took place, everything was hunky-dory. Everything was just great. We were planning our future with this baby that was about to be a part of our lives. We were looking to buy a house. We had begun that process, talking with a realtor, trying to get pre-approved to buy a house. I spoke with my wife Friday morning about where do we go in terms of that? Is that something we should still pursue? And I think maybe we came to the realization together that yes, it was. At least it would give us something to focus on. So we would end up in all sorts of neighborhoods just basically driving around looking for sale signs. I've spent this entire weekend that just passed trying to keep my wife's mind off of all of this. And maybe that's not the right thing to do. But that's the best that I could think of. And you know, it's crazy too, because as much as I've been trying to keep my wife busy and keep us busy, essentially, it's like everywhere we turn, whether it's on the TV, when we're back here in the evening times, it's like all we see are commercials for babies. Again, Friday, we're driving around. We would end up just driving through neighborhoods looking for sale signs. I would actually call our realtors, who are a husband and wife team. They've got 3 children, one being a newborn. When I first met with them, I explained to them how buying a house was important for my family because we were about to have a family with my wife being pregnant. But I called the realtors and I asked, hey, can we just swing by the office to see what you guys got available? And we would end up going to the office, meeting with the wife, very nice woman. And she walks in with her newborn, baby crying. She tells my wife, she says, this is what you guys have to look forward to. But she had no idea what we had just been through. Crazy. Life is really crazy. With the fact that life will sometimes throw you curveballs, no matter where you are in life. No matter if you're at the rock bottom trying to find a way to get up from that, or whether you think that you're somewhere so far separated from any BS in your past, any negativity, obstacles, roadblocks, life will throw you curveballs. And in my own personal opinion, being someone who I consider myself so far separated from the negativity of my past, it almost hurts a lot worse when life throws you those curveballs when you're doing better. You will deal with things most certainly in life that are unexpected. This for sure was one of them. Maybe we were naive. We knew, they told us that the risk for miscarriage is a lot higher. But when you find out that you're pregnant, that your wife is pregnant, you're not thinking about that. I promise you're not thinking about that. We weren't. And just as hard as it was to share all of this with you all in Friday's video, the worst day of my life, ironically performing better than most videos, which really pisses me off because, I've said this many times, probably more so on Kicking the Bobo, our little live stream that we do, but I've always had this thought about YouTube. Ain't it funny how it's always the negative, horrible stuff that always performs better than the positive? The worst day of my life. Boy, a lot of people really wanted to see that. My mind's just been all over the place. But like I was trying to say, even worse than sharing all of this with all of you, I never wanted to have to make a video saying that this was the situation. But even worse than that was having the conversation with my mother, my wife having the conversation with her mother, me having the conversation with my father, who when I told him he never saw the video, he broke down crying. I broke down crying again. Sunday would end up being my brother's son, my nephew's birthday, his 9th birthday. We would go to that again, trying to stay busy, keep our minds off of what we're really dealing with. And my nephew's 9th birthday was at this laser tag place. It was like playing Fortnite in real life or Call of Duty. Really awesome place. Me and my nephew would be on the same team. We're running around shooting people with these laser tag guns. And in the midst of one of these laser tag games that we were playing, my little 9-year-old nephew would come up and just hug me and say that I'm sorry you guys lost the baby. I was crying in the middle of a laser tag arena. And a lot of people reached out. People that surprised me. The guy Shep that I told you about, offering me kind words and a little bit of what he experienced in his own situation. Josh from Lockdown. Even Yanni. Yanni reached out to me and said, all bullshit aside, I'm sorry for your loss. A situation like this will humble you. It has to. Because it'll do one of two things. If you don't allow it to humble you and to look toward the good things that you have in your life, and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be something like what me and my wife were experiencing. This could be any sort of a super messed up situation that takes place in any of our lives. But if you don't allow a situation like that to humble you and to be grateful for what you do have, it will absolutely destroy you, or it has the potential to be able to do so. And I vowed to myself to not allow that to happen, not only in my life, but especially in my wife's life. This situation has destroyed us, and we have every right to feel miserable, depressed, sad. But eventually, I'm hopeful that we will get past this, because it has humbled the both of us. I've never been more grateful for my wife than during this time. Seeing the strength that she has, still carrying this around in her right now, till Thursday. This woman has displayed strength that I know I wouldn't have. There's two other things that I want to mention real quick before I wrap this up. And that is, one, there have been a lot of people who have reached out, the people that I've mentioned thus far. There was another person who addressed this situation, RDAP Dan. Me and him had done a video in the past. We haven't talked much since then. That it is what it is. But RDAP Dan would go on to put together a GoFundMe for me and my wife because of this situation. And I appreciate the sentiment, but I don't want it. Thank you, but no thank you. One, I've got my own thoughts and beliefs about GoFundMe. I don't and will never use them again. And I don't want charity or even really sympathy from this. I don't want this to be boo-hoo for me. Again, I appreciate the offer. I appreciate the gesture. I just don't want it. And I need to address that. I need to, because it was brought to my attention over the weekend. And that's all I want to say about that. And the second thing that I want to say is, again, we will get back to a sense of normalcy, at least here on After Prison Show. The show must go on. And I guess my biggest reason for feeling that it should is, well, because it should. And two, what else am I going to do? It is what it is. I might still be sad. I probably will be. But we got a lot of things that we're doing here that I need to make sure continue to get done. My wife actually went back to work today herself. So I guess in conclusion, in terms of all of this, I probably won't be speaking about all of this. Hopefully too much more at all. Don't hold me to that because I have no idea how Thursday will be. I know it will be a continuation of the tragicness. But I hope once Thursday passes, we are able to heal and move forward. But regardless, tomorrow we'll get back to some videos that definitely got put on hold. There's some videos that are ready right now. We just went on a trip on Wednesday before Thursday when all of this took place, and there's some really good stuff that I want to share with you guys. I thank each and every one of you for not only being a part of After Prison Show, but for being a part of my life, for being a part of my wife's life, for being a part of Cody's life and Dave's girl's life and Danny's life and Rabbit's life and Shannon's life and everybody's life that we've introduced here. This truly is the most amazing community on this platform. I don't care what you say. And I'm super grateful to have this. Something else that I've realized while being humbled. I've got a lot of things to be grateful for. And this too shall pass.